Co-op Mode, round 58. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. I'm your host, Todd Oxtra, joined by my co-host, Mr. Mark the Canadian Carabin. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I just want clarification. So co-host, is that, should I be drinking some cocoa, or like I gotta pour out the Pepsi that I have, or is this like your co-op co-host and you're combining it in some sort of Brangelina fashion? I just want to make sure I'm following along.
We do have a guest, so I guess it's kind of like three hosts.
Oh, okay. I'm picking up what you're throwing down.
A Triforce today,
all right.
I guess.
Makes sense.
Yeah, we have made space on the co-op couch this week. Someone from the West Coast, part of a little podcast called PlayStation XP, part of the Play Some Video Games Network, which I always thought was PlayStation Video Game Network, so I learned something. That is Mr. Devin Tyus. How are you doing, bud?
I'm doing pretty good. Happy to be here, man.
Awesome, yeah. So we've got all the coasts are represented, me in the middle, I like Malcolm in the middle, and we're going to have some fun talking about games this week. But Devin, before we get started, we want you to tell people, how did you become the gaming geek you are? What's your gaming origin story?
So my gaming origin story started in I want to say kindergarten or first grade. I can't remember which one it was, but it was at a sleepover. And I got to the sleepover late, and one of them was playing Nintendo. I had never seen Nintendo before. In fact, watching them play Mario was quite daunting to my little 5 or 6 year old brain. I was like, what is that, and how does that work? So I wanted no parts of it. But then they switched over to Duck Hunt, and I was like, okay, I can get this. I can point a gun and shoot at the ducks that are flying by, or the skeet shooting or whatnot. And so I started playing that, then switched over to Mario, played a little bit of that, and I was hooked. I would say probably within the next 2 months, I came home from school one day and I had a Nintendo, and I had Mega Man and Metroid. So that was the origin story, and it just took off from there, and I've been gaming ever since.
That is awesome.
So I've got a question, because I don't know if this is common or not, but did you try shooting the dog? Because I think every kid wants to shoot that dog eventually.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I wanted to shoot the dog. I'm like, but he's got to go. He's laughing at me like he's got to get it.
That's it. The first time that dog laughs, I think every single person tried to shoot that dog. The first time it laughs at you, you're like, come here. Duck Hunt is such an overlooked game, because you have Super Mario Brothers launching at the same time on the same cart or whatever, and so many people are like, myself included, the first game I played was Super Mario. So it's super refreshing to hear someone be like, yeah, no, I left Mario in the dust. I just wanted to shoot some ducks, and that's what hooked you in. So that's pretty awesome, because I loved Duck Hunt, but not quite as much as Mario. So I like the different takes on what hooked you in, and seeing the dauntingness of Mario, because that is it's quite shocking.
Yeah, at 5 or 6, I was like, that doesn't even make sense. I don't know how y'all are doing that. So I'm gonna sit back here and watch, because y'all got that, and then I'm gonna pick up this gun and shoot at the things, because that just my brain can take that in.
That system was probably king of the light gun games, because you had games like Gyromite, you had to shoot with that along with the robot. Then you had Gumshoe, and there was a bunch of other games too that were just a ton of fun. And then it kind of died off. And of course, I think they they put Duck Hunt. Was that a virtual console release or something like that?
Yeah, it was released for Wii U. You had to use a Wii remote to play it. But it did come out for that system, and kind of I think it was virtual console, or it might have been a re-release Wii UWare game or whatever, an eShop game. But I'd have to fire up the Wii U, but I think you're right. I think it was virtual console, and used specifically had to use the Wii remote instead of any Wii U accessory, which what the hell was that system?
Well, the best of both worlds, Mark. Come on.
What was the Wii U? Like, Jesus. That's anyway. Yeah.
Think Nintendo knows what the Wii U was.
No, I think that was the problem, right? Like there was like a solution waiting for a problem, and they never knew what to do with it.
I was always curious, like what type of connection they used with the Wii U gamepad, because it's almost like whoever thought like 10 feet was like the ideal distance, like your couch, I guess.
Wasn't that a proprietary wireless?
More than likely
technology or something like that they actually, I forget if it was increase or decrease the wavelengths to get minimal lag, but then it didn't go through, and that's why it was so short, because the lag from the system and the controller had to work perfectly. So it was such a weird technology. I remember reading about that years ago when they were first kind of releasing or talking about the Wii U, and it was like, yeah, we developed this certain thing. It was like, here's how normal waves travel through the air, and here's how the Wii U waves. And it was like, holy crap, this is going to be awesome. And then it was like, well, I can't go to my kitchen from the living room without this thing dropping the signal. So I was like, why?
If it doesn't pass the toilet test, it's not going to work for portable gaming. So I think that's the first failure right there. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, we don't have any great stories of like Wii U gamepads dropped in toilets, so really really understated problem. Oh well. Well, let's get started, gents. But before we do, last question, Devin, favorite console of all time?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm probably gonna go with the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I think that is definitely my favorite console of all time. Just the nostalgia, the memories, the just breadth of different types of games you had on that system. So I'm gonna have to go with the SNES. Yeah.
If we did a video version of this podcast, this is where the video would stop and it'd include that Step Brothers. Did we just become best friends? Yep. And then he'd cut back to the show because, like, yes, you are saying all the right things.
Oh yeah.
I never owned an SNES, but I rented one, so I guess it makes me
here, Todd.
Really lame. Oh. And I also rented the Genesis. So I'm like the lamest person in the world. Oh, well.
The amount of Super Nintendo games that I rented from Blockbuster. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Wow. Those are good times. Oh, boy. Yeah, I mean, by the time you've bet, like, I mean, I don't know, were games like $10 to rent or something like that ridiculous? And then if you rented a system, you had to put like a security deposit down, which was ridiculous. And it's like, this is a lot of effort, but oh, well.
Oh, yeah.
It's either that or I'm older than you two gentlemen, but it was either that or, pay for dates and Nike Air Maxes that were $120. That's where my money went. I was kind of a lapsed game, and during that time.
Taking his sweetheart out to the picture show.
That's right.
Had to pay for the trolley tickets.
Right. Those dates at Olive Garden aren't cheap, man. Come on. Oh, wow.
No, exactly. Horse and buggy home. God, I mean, it all adds up.
Absolutely, Mark. Yes. Yeah, the gentleman carriage. Yes, at the tip, very well. Yeah. Oh well. Well, let's get into the meat of the show. So let's start with what we've been playing, gentlemen. So Devin, I think this is going to be a popular topic of the show. The first game you've been playing is a game that I think a lot of people are going to get back into.
Yeah, Avengers, man. It's I jumped back into that. Had the update. I had actually just stopped playing it before the Hawkeye DLC and even the Kate Bishop DLC. I had stopped playing because I was like, I'm just gonna wait for this PS5 version. I want to play it with a much better frame rate and just see how it goes. So I jumped back into that this Thursday when it dropped, and it looks and plays like night and day compared to the PS4 Pro version. And just having a good time with it. Really enjoying Kate's character. I'm not a big fan of the grind that I have to do to get her up because she, of course, starts at level 1. So having to regrind out all of her gear and all of that stuff, I'm not huge into that. But the story is at least interesting enough to keep me playing, and I enjoy playing as her character. Because if you give me a character with a bow and a sword, I'm set. I'm good to go. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to finishing it. So
how did you, because my friend tried to do the upgrade and save transfer. His son unfortunately foiled him because he started playing the PS5 version right away, and I guess it screwed the save. Did you have any problems with that?
No, because since I was at work all day before it came out, I had saw everything that was going on with it, I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go ahead, use the app, push the PS5 version to my PS5. Get home, go ahead and upload like that. Remake sure that the PS4 version, because I still have my PS4 and it was installed, so I just made sure that it updated, and then I booted up. It asked me to export my save. I did that, and then as soon as you boot up the PS5 version, it asked me to import. So I was good. I had no problem. So thank you for everyone who had issues before I got to it, so I didn't have that problem.
Mercy.
Yeah,
I'm kind of thankful for the just start the game on Xbox.
Right?
Damn. Like,
yeah.
Sony needs to figure that out, because it's just becoming more and more of a problem, especially when there's games where you can't even pull your save from the previous generation. So it's like, y'all tripping. Y'all need to get that together. Xbox is showing you how to do it, so let's just follow suit, please.
yes.
For at least the next year, while we still have cross generation games. But once we don't have that, it shouldn't be much of an issue. But we're still in that time frame right now.
Yeah, Xbox has what they said, like 100,000 hours of cross backwards compatible everything, and PlayStation's like, we're trying. And I think a lot of people are actually really ultimately surprised it's going as smoothly as it is. I remember when like that first list of games that said they weren't going to work, or like, oh, this is just the beginning of games that work, and that list shrunk actually from the initial. It's like, I think there's not one backwards compatible game that doesn't work yet. So that's impressive. But yeah, they've got their work cut out for them, and I just hope Nintendo's learning from all of these faux pas that everybody's making right now.
Oh, come on, Todd. Nintendo doesn't learn from anything.
They do what they want. Period.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get like a Switch Pro tax or something like that, where it's like it's $10 to upgrade your save to the Switch Pro or something?
I wouldn't be surprised. Didn't they? They did that with the Wii U Virtual Console. It was to get it in HD or whatever. It was like, here, pay $2 for each of your NES games and $5 or whatever it was to upgrade your Super Nintendo games, and then you can play them on your Wii U. It's like, Nintendo just does what they want, and we're all dumb, so we all pay what they ask us to, and then ask for more, because none of us make smart decisions.
No. Really quickly, because I'm trying to be nice to Nintendo. So, I'm just trying to not shed too much shade, because in this instance, Sony really needs to focus on improving it. But in this instance, what did you play? What mode did you play? Did you play performance? Did you play FPS?
Performance all the way. I if there's a performance mode, I don't care. I need my frames. After not playing games in 60 frames for so long, I refuse to go back to 30, so I don't even bother with quality modes. I have my PS5 set to the standard of performance modes. So anything that has performance mode, it just goes right in.
We'll never know any different.
No.
Not even tempted.
Nope. Not even.
I did see they showed some of the difference, and it is kind of neat what they can actually add in with that performance mode. It was like with Hulk when he crashes the ground, the rubble, like in performance mode, or the visual quality mode. The rubble, like just physics and things like that, is phenomenal. It's just like, that's a real difference. And I don't know if you'll just even, it's like, oh, I'm done with it and I'll move on. But that's pretty impressive it's not just a little prettier that's harder to tell. That's actually a visual distinction of having more, even like the robots, the parts that are breaking off them are like more present, things like that. So very cool. Very cool. Yeah. And you said Kate, you're playing Kate, and was Clint, is he out now too?
He is out now, but I'm just to me, this game is just a single player story game. I don't even bother with the online, so I'm literally just playing the story. So this is just the next beat, and once I'm done with Kate's story, I'll play Clint's story and that story beat. So, yep, just playing Kate right now.
Perfect, and I'm looking forward to the Maestro as the villain. He's a Devin, we do a video game or a geeky media podcast called Secret Friends Core, and it's all about it's not about video games, because my co-host that Mark co-hosts a Star Wars podcast but doesn't like video games at all except for the Lego games. But Maestro is one of my favorite villains of all time, and it's basically future Hulk. And, he's basically without morals and things like that. So I'm glad that's like the least likely villain I thought they would ever bring in. So that's pretty cool. So I hope it's a good fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, one of my boys, Kevin, who's also part of PSVG, said he really, really enjoyed the Maestro stuff. So it sounds like it's good. He's a huge comic book guy. He knows all the storylines. So if he's excited, that usually means pretty good things.
Awesome. So I will tell you, the next game you've been playing is a game I actually loaned to my neighbor, because I have kind of just forgot about this game. It's kind of not been on my radar. Mark, you and I talked about that Immortals kind of went above it. You played far more than I did, but so are you getting back to AC Valhalla, or is it something you've been playing all along?
No, this is actually the beginning of me starting it. When it first dropped, I was playing other stuff. I was playing Miles. I actually played some Immortals, Godfall. I was just playing other stuff, and I was like, after hearing about how long this game is and how it feels like it never ends and you can't finish the story, I was like, I am just gonna put this on the back burner, not even worry about it till I get like a nice lull, and then just kind of dip in and out of it, just to see how I like it or whatnot. And I have literally only played the very, very beginning of it. And it's because I have a game share partner who bought it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even played it. So I dipped into it. It's cool. I picked forgot what the female character's name is. Eivor. I picked the female.
They're both same name.
Okay, I picked the female version just because it looked like it'd be more interesting. But just in the very beginning of it, and it looks pretty. It feels like Assassin's Creed, and I'm looking forward to murdering some things as a Viking. So, yeah.
I would say get out of like Norway. Or is it Norway that you're in?
Norway, and then you go to England.
Yeah, leave there as soon as possible. It's a trap because I finally left it after like 12 hours, 20 hours, something. The game doesn't even get like title screen, I don't think, until you do leave it. So yeah, don't stick around. Wow.
Yeah, and you can go back. So I was kind of worried because I knew you did transition to, the different place, and I was like, so do I have to hit every single part? Do I have to go and explore all these, you see little villages and tops of mountains and stuff. And anytime in an Assassin's Creed game I see a top of a mountain, I was like, I'm going up that sucker. So in this one, no, you can go back. So, you don't be afraid to move on to a new area. Because like you said, if you do start picking at everything, you will just straight up never finish that game. And I hit a part in it when I was just like, I just have to stop my little squirrel brain from going in a million directions and just focus on story beats, or I am never going to want to touch this game again. So yeah, but it is good. It is good. Murder stuff with as a Viking. It's always fun.
Nice. Yeah. I'll try to mainline this one as much as possible because I don't feel like being stuck in the world forever trying to, finish the Ubisoft, I've got 4,000 things on this map to complete type of thing.
I'm noticing a trend in the games you're playing, though. You like games that just kind of never end. So Division 2, it's still alive and kicking?
Yeah, I actually did not play this one a whole lot from when it started, but me and a couple of my friends, we started getting back to like our Thursday night game night to where we play together, and so this has been on my Thursday night game. So whenever we get together on Thursday, we've been playing the Division 2 because it's 4 of us. So it's easier. We were trying to figure out what game could we all play. At first, it was just 3, so we were playing like Destiny. We played Outriders or whatnot. But then our 4th was like, yeah, I'm available. So I was like, all right, cool. We're going to play the Division because it allows all 4 of us to play. So we've just been going through that basically from the beginning of the game and just playing together, having a good time, not paying any attention to the story, just trying to get gear, kill things, talk a lot of trash to each other, and level up. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been very cathartic for me, just with a lot of life stuff that's been happening. This Thursday night has been like really, really good for me. And this game is like the perfect, just chill out, play with your friends type of game.
That's Fortnite for me. Play with my friends, my nephew, whatever, just kind of mindlessly going around shooting other people and having some fun.
Yeah.
Is that cross-play, or is it just still kind of siphoned in by each platform?
I think the Division has crossplay, but only between PC and Stadia. I think those are the only ones. Yeah, it's really weird. It's the only one that actually has the crossplay. I believe there's talks of opening it up to crossplay between all of the consoles, but right now the only crossplay you have is PC and Stadia, which is just a weird combination, but it is what it is.
Are we at the end of that? I mean, it just seems like Destiny's finally going to get crossplay in the fall. But I mean, is that just kind of one of those things you just can't launch anymore without that? Because I know Outriders is launching with day one crossplay. I mean, any other big games? I mean, does Call of Duty do crossplay? Is that crossplay now too? Okay.
It is, yeah. Call of Duty is full crossplay across all the platforms. I believe Fortnite is now too.
Yep.
I think Apex is as well.
Apex, can you play? Oh yes, you can, but it's not cross save.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's weird.
Which is boggling to my poor little mind. But yeah, I think we have to be on the way out, right? Like, it just makes so much more sense from a business standpoint. Like, you want
player base,
the biggest player base you can to continue, because no matter how big your game is at whatever time, that is going to drop down. It is going to become that core player base that's going to stick around. And the bigger that can be, the more chances you have of your game not dying quickly. And, it doesn't matter if you're the most popular game in the world, you're eventually going to drop off. And you need that, if you're only hosting whatever, several thousand players on each platform, that's going to be way harder than combining those several thousand players to, maybe hit at least a decent number. That doesn't mean you're constantly stuck in a lobby searching for someone to play with or whatever. So it makes so much sense that way. I don't know what their excuses are.
I think the developers have all been good with crossplay. I think it honestly has been Sony that's been holding it back, not wanting to go that extra route. And I think they're finally allowing that to happen. I think Outriders will be the first real showing of how good crossplay can be, since it is fully crossplay, but also not cross save, which is odd. Don't know why they didn't include that as well, but at least you will have full crossplay from the beginning with literally every platform that it's on. So that'll be real nice. And hopefully more games will follow suit.
Yeah, I mean, cross save is the dumb one because that encourages you to buy the game on multiple systems. So it's like, of the things that would make you to buy, I don't know. I don't know if any of it is tied to the currency and the buying of things. I know, Mark, you've talked about Fortnite in a way. You buy your V-Bucks or whatever console you're at, and then your stuff does show up, except for maybe a few console exclusive things.
So console exclusives, if I log onto my PlayStation account and they're doing something with PlayStation Plus, that they're giving away a free skin or a pickaxe or something that, as soon as I collect it on my PlayStation, I can log in on Switch or Xbox or wherever, and it'll be there. Just if I buy V-Bucks on PlayStation, they are locked to my PlayStation. I can't go to my Xbox where I usually play, and so that kind of became a pain in the ass as I was switching around, because I'd started playing the game on Switch, and for the portability, and then COVID happened, so it's well, I might as well play on a console. And then I sold my Xbox One X and started playing on PlayStation, and then I kind of dropped the PlayStation when I got the Series X. So it's I've got V-Bucks just everywhere, and some of them because then you get down to 200 V-Bucks, and you get a decision between just leaving them there to rot, because nothing costs 200 V-Bucks, or topping it up, and it's that perpetuating cycle of okay,
it's the Xbox Space Bucks, right? It used to be that way.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
Destiny has the same problem with its silver. Whenever you buy silver, it stays whatever platform you buy it on. So I've basically designated my PC as where I buy things and don't even bother with the currency on the other platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my son, who's now a Destiny addict, telling me all the things that are wrong with Destiny 2 and telling me all the lore. Oh my goodness, I've created a monster, 15-year-old kid with too much time on his hands. It's a dangerous thing. But yeah, he begged for the Destiny 2 season pass, which I'm like, Destiny has a season pass now? Oh my god. So yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, the silver thing, and do you buy money, because you just can't buy the season pass outright. You have to buy silver to then buy it. I believe.
No, if you have silver, you can buy the season passes with it, but otherwise you just buy the season pass.
He took me down a path then. What am I doing? What am I doing? Oh well, yeah. Now I probably silver change or something. I probably have 21 silver that will do nothing ever.
No, everything is at least 500 silver. It's ridiculous.
Oh my goodness. Oh well. Well, it's good to hear that. I have the Division 2 on PlayStation 4. I've always wanted to play. Maybe I'll try it out. I mean, I've got it, so it doesn't hurt anything. So yeah, I'm excited to try it. The only thing that made me laugh, it just seems like those guys are like big guys you try to take down. It's like it's guys with hoodies and guys with some art. It's like, wait, how is that like an armor-proof hoodie or something? I don't know. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm emptying several clips into you, and you have on a jumpsuit. So it's got to be like a uranium jumpsuit you got on there. But good lord.
Yeah, kind of takes you out of it. It's supposed to be a great game though, but that's cool. Awesome. Well, Mark, you're next, my friend. You're playing a game that you must be Batman crazy with all the Justice League, the Batman coming to Fortnite, the comic. My goodness. So you're playing Arkham Knight.
Oddly enough, not related to any of that other stuff.
Oh?
No. So on Xbox for Game Pass, so in the Game Pass app or on your phone or wherever, they'll give you missions. So you have like quests or whatever, right? So you complete your daily quest, your weekly quest, your monthly quest, and it gives you basically just like free points that you can then spend. So I always cash in my points for like, free Xbox gift cards or to enter contests or whatever. So that's actually, I was kind of listening to the Xbox Drive, and they were talking about, I forget who asked the question, but someone wrote in and asked the question of how do you narrow down your games on Game Pass to play? Like, how do you decide what the next game you're going to play is? And the way I've been doing it for like the last little bit is going in, seeing what quests I have that week or that month, and saying, well, I either haven't played this game in a long time, which was the case with Batman, or I've never played this game. So let me download it, see what it's all about, see if I can get that quest, get the 100 points or 200 points. Excuse me. So 100 points, 200 points, whatever it is. And maybe I'll discover some new games. Maybe I'll rediscover an old game that I never quite finished it, embarrassingly enough, like Batman Arkham Knight. And so that's kind of how I jumped into this. There was a quest, I think it was defeat 50 thugs, and I did that in like a half hour or less. It did not take long. And then I was like, man, this game is really good. I never quite finished it. I think it's time to get back in. So started fresh save file, and that's kind of what I'm rocking through right now. It completely pulled me back in.
Oh, nice. I wish I could go back and play that game fresh. So good. It's
almost fresh for me at this point because I played it when it first came out and then kind of dropped it for whatever reason and haven't gone back. So this is not quite super fresh, but I'm relearning a lot. Like the muscle memory is not quite there. I do remember some of the story beats and whatever, but it was definitely almost jumping in fresh. So it's been a fun experience. I think I'm going to stick with it and really try to finish it this time and focus. But speaking, you did mention Fortnite, and I have been rocking the Batman skin there to get ready for the Batman crossover comic. Fortnite just started a new season chapter 2, season 6. And this one is taking the island back to like primal. So they had this crazy cinematic story mode to kick off this season that tied season 5 to season 6. It was a single player story for the first time. Really, really well animated, well voiced. It was really, really cool. So you jump in there, you find like the 0 point, this big thing in the sky is going to explode, and there's all this kind of crazy action and everything else. And then it leads right into this new season where the island is, like I said, kind of turned into the wild. So there's hints that there's going to be dinosaurs later this season, which I am so pumped about. But right now there's like chickens, wild boars, frogs, and wolves that you can tame, and you can just like straight up just run with a wolf on your team, and the wolf goes and attacks people, and they are savage. So are the wild boars. Don't mess with those.
I'm curious about the frogs.
The frogs, when you kill them, they drop poison sacks that you can combine. So now there's weapon crafting, not only like building your little defenses and stuff. Man. There's some weapon crafting, so you can actually combine poison frog parts with your bow and arrow. And if you've seen some of the clips that I've posted on Instagram or Twitter, do not give me a bow and arrow and expect another team to live. They're not, it's not going to work. I've been picking off like crazy distance headshots with the bow and arrow. It's great. Oddly enough, I did it with my Captain Marvel skin and said Hawkeye's been training her, and then I did it with my Batman skin and said Green Arrow's been training Batman. So yeah, it's fun. A lot of people are kind of pissed off with, and I can understand, like there's so much now. You have to get your regular materials, but also you have to get the crafting materials to make your guns better, and the base guns suck, and there's not enough like top tier guns scattered around because they want you to try to build them instead of just finding them. And it has gotten more complex. And then there's other little weird bugs that always happen at the start of a season, like different storm glitches and stuff like that. So it's not the smoothest opening for a season, but I've been having a little bit of fun with it. It's kind of cool.
You may have just sold me on Fortnite.
Oh, Mark, right. Mark, the sponsorship is coming through.
When you talk about weapon crafting and running with the wolf, oh yeah.
Yep. You can also fly like with a chicken. When you catch a chicken, you hold it above your head and fly like Link.
Like Link's.
I was gonna say like Link. Oh no.
There's some rumors that Link is going to come into Fortnite actually, because the chickens. There's someone posted a video in a group that I'm in. That they said when you pick up a certain item, it sounds like collecting a rupee. I'm not quite sold on that one, but anyway, conspiracy theory stuff. But there is, and I did confirm this, curs on a beach, and they're kind of buried in the sand. But each cur is colored like the different color rupees in Zelda, and they're kind of forming like a weird kind of diamond shape kind of thing buried in the beach. So I've never seen cars colored like that, and it is a really weird coincidence with the flying chickens. So if they throw Link into this season, like stick a fork in me, I'm done. I already have Master Chief, like Kratos, like let's go. Let's throw Link in there.
I have it downloaded.
All right.
I haven't started it yet, but now that you told me there's a single player beginning part to it, and I can craft weapons, let's go.
Fun fact: the trailer for season 6 was directed by the Russo brothers, who directed the Avengers. This is insane. This isn't even a game anymore. It's like it is weird. I don't even know what to explain. This started as
that trailer leads, like, it cuts directly into where you start playing. So the part that they directed, like literally, it kind of the camera kind of spins and you're suddenly controlling the person. So it switches to in-game, but yeah, like I said, very well directed, well animated, and well voiced. It was a cool start to the season for sure. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more. I've also been playing a little bit of Rocket League, and it's for a weird reason. Tomorrow and Thursday night. So by the time people listen to this, I guess tomorrow will have passed. But I'm actually doing commentary for a Rocket League tournament, which is very exciting. I've never done like live commentary before. So there's like a sports promotion company here in Atlantic, Canada, and they just launched an esports division called Alpha Experience Atlantic. And you can follow them on Twitch or wherever and check them out. But this is their first big tournament, and they have some really great, talented Rocket League players attending this, and then a schmuck like me behind the mic. So it's gonna be
that is phenomenal. I just thought it was like a cover for like Mark's sex party or something like that, but you're really doing Rocket League commentary. That's fantastic, dude.
I really am. No, I am super excited about it. It starts, like I said, tomorrow, Tuesday. So by the time people listen to this, that the first day will be over, but Thursday would be the finisher. Starts at 6 p.m. Atlantic time. So that would be 5 Eastern, and you can adjust your times from there. But I'm super excited, man. I am. We did a test run the other night, and it went really well. So I'm really excited to just like try it live and have that kind of pressure and whatever. But I'm used to podcasting. I'm used to talking about video games, but like the live commentary stuff is throwing a whole other wrench at me, and I'm pumped.
That's great. Do you have like another person with you, like a commentator with you? Okay, cool. That's gonna be dope.
Yeah, there's so there's two like color commentators and then one kind of like host kind of in between everything. So it's gonna be really, really cool. It's the commentators are me and a guy named Omar. He's from I think Toronto or somewhere in Ontario, and he usually does Smash stuff. Like Smash commentating. So both of us are pretty new to the Rocket League side of things, but we've both been playing Rocket League forever. So even like during our test run, like we were just bouncing off of each other, and it's we have a really fun dynamic, I think. So I'm interested to see what it's like. So Omar's a pretty great guy. So I'm very excited.
Nice. That's fantastic. So will they save like streams? Will they save the stream for watching later? Or
I'm really hoping so. I don't have confirmation on that one. I'm guessing because they want this to be a thing. You know, they're really pushing to do some sort of esports in a big way in Atlantic, Canada, because right now we don't really have anything more than like a couple of college clubs and that kind of stuff. So I'm guessing they're going to save this and promote the hell of it, and really kind of be like, you know, here's the first thing we did. Now, you know, we'll show that off and be able to do something else. So hopefully this is the start of something much bigger. So go follow Alpha X Atlantic on Twitter and wherever else, and follow them on Twitch if you want to check out the show.
Fantastic, man. Let's see. Well, I will get into what I've been playing now. So playing some odd games. These are just not games I would normally play. Todd and Hitman stealth games do not normally go together, but everyone has been talking about Hitman 3 like, oh, this is the game you need to get into. It's a series that's fantastic. It's not punishing stealth. It's pretty open. It's the third game. It's not even the third game in the series, I don't think. I mean, Hitman came out a long time ago, but that was relaunched, I think, in 2016. They had Hitman then came out as like an episodic game. Then they got away from that. Now it's back to standard standalone Hitman, but it's the last game, I guess, in the Hitman story, which, considering how well this is doing, means that this is not the end. So they'll pull him back in like The Godfather. But essentially, this is an interesting game because it's very welcoming. Like for third game of the series, I mean, they walk you through kind of where you've been. So it's kind of like, previously on, so which is great. Walks you right into it. I know, Ian, that you go into this first mission. No spoilers. You're basically going into like one of those super ultra high rises in like Dubai, where it's like taller than it really ever should ever be. Like it's an affront to mankind. And you're basically there to take out someone. And then you're doing you basically can get intel as well. There's side missions that you can go through, but I was really remarkably surprised how easy it is to do everything. Because sometimes the games that are stealthy are clumsy. It feels like you get hung up on something, you get easily discovered. This one made it feel like you could kind of screw up a couple of times and not totally lose. I mean, it's all about subduing people, tossing them in closets, hopefully getting the right outfit on. You could walk around naked if you really wanted to. You could do whatever you want.
I really want to, Todd.
Oh, of course. But and you can use whatever type of weapon you want. And my goodness, thank you, Mark. I'm trying to be professional.
I just really wanted to see if I could throw you off there.
No, I'm on my train right now. I'm just avoiding you. A hobo on the side of the street trying to hitchhike on that train. No, not getting you. But but if you've seen any of the videos for Hitman, it's just crazy. Some of the things they try to break the game, like somebody basically decides to make a closet full of bodies. He just puts like 50 people in a closet and just launching them in there. They're not always dead. They can just be knocked out for own purposes. But
that's the kind of person that needs to be on an FBI watch list. I'm just saying.
Oh, it's a little crazy. Well, you're Hitman, Mark. Come on.
Little suspect.
Yeah. Exactly. But the physics are kind of crazy. Like you get like a briefcase, you can throw it and it curves and still hits the person. So it's a very like realistic but not realistic game whatsoever. You can dress up like a clown and kill people. It's very weird. But the first mission was fairly easy. I had a good time. And the second mission, though, is where it takes a departure from what I thought the series could ever do. It's essentially a real live Clue, like murder mystery, where you're brought in to investigate basically a murder. You play as a detective. You basically knock out the detective that was brought in to solve a murder, but you take him out and you're investigating the crime, kind of like a Knives Out type of situation, which I thought was really clever. I never expected it. It's an old mansion. It's really, you do investigation, and it's really interesting. But once again, it's got really weird stuff like side missions, like you have to take care of birds that are driving the woman that owns this mansion nuts, so you have to get rid of the bird nests, and you only have bricks, so you try to throw the bricks at the nest. It's like, why am I doing this? It makes no sense, but I know why they do it, because they want to add a lot of interesting elements of how you do things. But that's where I'm at. My son is also playing it, which surprises me, but it was interesting to watch what his approach to it. That's what this is all about. Your approach to every mission can be completely different. Like, I've seen people beat missions in like 5 seconds, like just going boom, boom, kill your. Other people are like doing elaborate plots. So it really is a choose your own adventure in how you take your hits and get your intel and things like that. So I've got it through GameFly, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going to try it some more, but I could see where, and the save points are generous. Holy crap, they're super generous. It's save anywhere. So ultimately, you can experiment as much as you want, which is what I love about modern gaming. Save anywhere. It's not punishing you, like making you do the same thing 85 times, which I think past stealth games made you do. So if you're curious, though, check it out. I would, and I think previous Hitman games were on PS Plus or Xbox Gold, so you might own it, like the old ones. So if you do, check it out. It's well worth playing.
Interesting.
Yeah. Next game, and you're like, Todd, what are you talking about? Are you secretly a brony? No, I'm not. But Pony Island is a game. The reason I'm playing it is because Xbox Game Pass for PC finally got EA Play. Came this week or last week, and it's amazing. I did not realize how many games were on the EA Play service for PC. It's like double what's on Xbox. Mm-hmm. And the amount of games that are interesting, indies and things like that, it's really immersive and it's really amazing. So Pony Island was a game I'd heard about, which is like one of those, it's like kind of like an Undertale game where it plays with you in a way where it really manipulates what you're thinking. And essentially you're playing a game called Pony Island. I don't know why, but it's like this really weird, like in television, Atari 2600 type of game. And it starts off, and you're basically doing some traversal, basically little pony jumping over things. And all of a sudden, the game starts acting very weird. Like, it is glitching start menus as you try to go through the start menus. They start moving around. Little things come up in the background. You get glitches. And it's essentially what's that show? Black Science? Is it what it's called? Dark Science? It's like it's like a X-Files type show.
Black Mirror?
Yes, Black Mirror. That's what it is. So it's like a Black Mirror, but with video games. It totally goes off the rails. It's creepy. It's weird, but it's in the guise of this game that someone created called Pony Island. So like a My Little Pony type of thing. But the puzzles are really, they kind of break your brain a couple of times. Like you're just going, like you have to solve how to go through the options menu, and you do different things. The menu starts falling apart. You have to repiece it. Wow. It is really crazy, but it's on. Crazy. It's been out for a while, and I think it would be perfect on Switch. It's really there. I mean, it's not very long, but the puzzles have gotten a little bit daunting, and it's kind of tiresome after a while. Kind of like, I'm just exhausted. I want this to get over with because I know where I want to do, but I'm not getting there. So, but I mean, if you're interested, looking for something that's a little bit deeper and different, Pony Island, check it out.
If you're a Sony pony looking to play a pony game on Xbox on PC, this is the one for you.
Absolutely. It's endorsed by Shuhei Yoshida. He loves
awesome.
Next game,
check that out.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. It's a small game, but it's and it probably will take you no more than 2 to 3 hours. So it's worth it. Or just try it out and you're like, this is horrible. I'm moving on. Morrowind. I decided to try this game. I remember playing this game originally on PC back in the day when it launched, and I didn't like it then. For some reason, it just didn't grab me. It was kind of like how old PC games used to be, kind of like just the ability to get into them was kind of daunting at points, because it felt like everything's available to do, but you don't really know what to do. So you kind of like, you either can dig in and spend a lot of time doing it, or you don't. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try this now that the Bethesda games are all on Game Pass. It's on PC. Now this game has not aged well at all, and this is going to be the top show that we'll talk about later. Basically, backwards compatibility, remakes, remasters, etc. This is one of the games that I feel like no amount of FPS boost will make this game better. There's very little voice work. The menu system is very bland. It is just the way the people move. Wow. I know people are doing like a mod of this game called Skywind, where basically they put Morrowind in the Skyrim engine. But I'm not a big fan of mods either, because it's a lot of work to get to be useful and manageable. So I gave this one about an hour and said, I never want to play this game again. So yeah, it's a 20-year-old game. So it is what it is. Some things have not aged well, but yeah, if you're interested. So I'm going to try Oblivion next, though. Okay. But what I can't figure out, though, and this is where it's interesting, where you get into the differences between Game Pass for Xbox and PC. On the PC, you get the Game of the Year edition. On Xbox, you get the base game, and you can buy all the DLC.
Oh.
I don't know why.
So interesting.
It looks okay. I mean, I've started that a little bit, and I'm interested, but it feels more like Skyrim than Morrowind does. So that's my wheelhouse. So, and I've never really played much of it at all. So I'm interested to try that one out. So more cool. There. Yeah. And lastly, gentlemen, I got the Xbox headset that they just released, $100. It is pretty cool. I've really enjoyed it. My work headset died, so it's just in time. This works with Bluetooth and the Xbox wireless connection protocol, and it's really neat because it's very simple. It's a one-piece headset, so it doesn't fold up or anything. Just basically expands a little bit if you got a bigger head. Charged with USB-C, has a mute on the mic, and then basically all your controls are on two big wheels on the side. So one is just overall volume, and the other one is game chat or audio for game video or game audio. So it's really easy to do, which is great. And then you can use the Xbox and the Bluetooth connection at the same time. So if you want to use Discord,
that's cool,
on Xbox and listen to your game audio, both will come through. So I think it's really neat.
That's useful.
Cool, yeah. There's no 3.5 connection, and there's no dongle. So it's completely dongleless, which is a weird thing to say. But the problem with that is there's no way to use this on Switch natively. There's no way to use this on the PlayStation platforms natively. So it's only good for Xbox mobile devices or devices that have Bluetooth natively, and which is dumb because PlayStation has Bluetooth but doesn't allow Bluetooth headsets. Damn you, Sony. Yeah, so it's a weird mix. There's only a few good, completely universal headsets. This is not one of them, but I think it's great for what it does. I used it as my work headset with my PC. Worked flawlessly. So the mic is really small, though. It's not very long, so I don't know how well that affects people hearing me. But compare like the Sony headset, which is no boom mic at all, which apparently it's supposed to be really good as well. So I don't know. I'm glad that we have two really good, affordable first-party headsets.
Yeah, for sure. The being able to mix Bluetooth and Xbox at the same time is something that's definitely appealing to me. If I wasn't so happy with my SteelSeries, I'd think about grabbing this, specifically just because last weekend I jumped in with Sean Capri's stream, and there were a few of us playing Star Wars Squadrons, and because he was doing a stream, he wanted the audio to be coming in through Discord. So I had one of my AirPods in one ear and my SteelSeries like off that ear and on one ear, and it was like trying to balance between the two. And I was still racking up the kills, but don't come at me with an X-Wing or a TIE fighter. But it was a weird kind of balance, right? Like is that one ear each kind of thing. So if you could have that piped in the same headset. I think that's a much better experience. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I had the experience.
What headset do you have?
I just have the Arctis One X, the Xbox version that with the dongle that switches back and forth. I didn't know that the other ones, it was the 7X Todd that you said has the same dongle that I would have gotten a better headset, but I thought this was the only one that worked on Switch, Xbox, whatever. So I'm happy with it, but I kind of wish I jumped up a level. Wait, so you said you have the same one?
I'm a big SteelSeries fan. I actually have the SteelSeries Pro with the game DAC. So I can have it USB into my PlayStation or Xbox or whatever, and then also pull optical audio to actually be able to chat and everything on both systems. So
wow.
Well, no longer, right? They removed the optical, right?
No. The game deck has optical. So I also have an audio extractor, which allows me to pull that out. Okay. So I got a whole crazy setup here. So like, I can chat on PC and Xbox or PlayStation all at the same time using this mic here and then also the mic that's actually in the headset and hear both.
Wow. Holy crap. Yeah. That's amazing.
and on Switch, you've got the Squid dongle.
Well, that's why I love this headset, man. It works with the Switch. I have the dongle that just works with the Switch. I just hit the little switch on the dongle and it works there. I can plug it into my Xbox and flip it to Xbox mode and it works there. So that's why I love this headset.
Yeah.
And I'm using it right now, plugged into my microphone as, just with the 3.5 millimeter jack. And it works here, just plugged directly into my Yeti. So super versatile headset, but yeah,
the Bluetooth is much more elegant.
Yes,
for sure.
Absolutely. It was funny. When I was in when my son was using these headsets and it was still for the Xbox and it was plugged into my PC still, he was hearing all the PC noises into his Xbox. I'm like, Dad, can you remove it? So it's like, it's one of those unintended moving things off of Bluetooth stuff. Yeah, it's great. Check it out. I think it's well worth it if you own, PC and those type of systems. So check it out. It's $100. It should be available in stores now. All right, we're going to get into news now. That was a long gaming session, but it was a lot of fun. I think we covered a lot of territory there. But news is going to be a little shorter this week. We didn't have a lot of news stories. We obviously, there was a lot of stuff last week we weren't going to cover, but we talked about most of those news stories previously, like the Xbox Bethesda merger. We talked about that already. Pretty much covered it. It's just basically at this point, if you got Game Pass, you're going to get a lot of great Bethesda games going forward, and that's all you have to worry about. So if you don't, on PlayStation, don't worry about it until Xbox will do what they want to do with those games. So wait until we see what happens. Very quickly, though, there's going to be an indie event coming to Xbox this week, which I was not expecting. It's on a Friday, which is another weird thing. Usually events are like on Thursdays. Right? But it's any predictions with that? Because it's going to be indie games. So, but indies aren't always small. I think we're going to get more showings of a lot of games we've been expecting, like Tunic and things like that. But any predictions for games we might see being announced and on Game Pass?
I don't know. They dropped such a surprise with. Was it Undertale they just dropped, and then what was the other one? Bravely Default, or what?
Yeah,
is that what it was? Or Octopath Traveler?
It was Octopath Traveler. Yeah,
Octopath. Yeah. So Xbox is doing some weird stuff. I'm really hoping to see, like you said, more of Tunic and more of the Gunk. Those are two of my pretty much most anticipated indie games. So as far as new stuff, it's so hard to predict. Indies are so all over the place and so neat that it's hard to say what's coming. I know a big one most people are clamoring for right now, and I think I just have a feeling that it'll drop on Switch first, but that's Loop Hero. But if Xbox grabbed that one first, that'd be another big win for them on the indie side, right? That I don't think a lot of people would see coming right now. But what about you guys?
I honestly don't have any predictions, sorry, because I don't follow the indies anywhere near as much. The only thing that I saw was that they debunked Hades coming, which I thought that was my only prediction, is that Hades was going to come, but they debunked that one, and it's just weird how they put out the graphic. Really? It just had like random stuff. Yeah, so I don't really have any other predictions, but I would love to see Tunic, and the Gunk was another one that I completely forgotten about. So those would be really nice to see. I mean, we haven't seen Tunic in what feels like forever.
No,
it's been a while.
No, and I think Mark's going to try to hook us up with uses Canadian connections, maybe.
I was just going to say, if I don't hear about Tunic soon, I'm driving up to Halifax and just like trying to find that guy, just knock on his door, be like, yo, where's my cute little Fox Zelda game? I need it. Just gimme.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. I think all these games will be announced, and I think they'll all be on Game Pass. I think that's a big deal because, I mean, you just don't have Xbox doing this without some type of and I think that's great for indies because it's probably cheap for Xbox to do that, make the money, and the developers like it because they actually get paid. So I think it's a big deal. Plus, it gets publicity for the games. But I think we're going to get Among Us and Fall Guys are going to be announced to be on Game Pass. I know those games are coming, but they haven't been announced for Game Pass. So I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, there's definitely been some little hints for Fall Guys for sure. So that would be a good one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, indies are a little bit harder because sometimes it's like, I think the big indie game that people forget is indie is the Stalker series. I'm like, that's an indie game? Yeah, it's big, but it's an indie game. So, yeah, cool things to look forward to. Man, we've kind of been blessed with news, thankfully, and I hope we'll get more coming soon. But we're going to get into the meat of the story. And Devin, I'm really curious about this. So tell us more about your story.
Yeah, so Sony bought Evo. Lots of jokes out there that, Sony was like, just buy me something. Get me anything. Microsoft bought, but we got to buy something. So
they didn't buy Quibi. Why did they buy Quibi?
God, Quibi. That takes me to a place. But it was interesting to see them buy Evo. They have their tournament series that is always going on PS4. Like I constantly see it that they have some tournament going for either Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter or this or that. So it seems like a natural progression. Street Fighter was like exclusive to PlayStation and PC. Like Street Fighter, I think it was 5 or 4. So to see them go ahead and just come full circle and buy Evo outright, it seems like a natural progression with how much they've actually hyped this tournament series of always having some kind of fighting tournament going on. So I'm really excited to see what they do with Evo. I love watching fighting games. I love watching Street Fighter. The new Guilty Gear game looks incredible. Yeah. I'm still holding out that Darkstalkers will one day make a return. Samurai Showdown, like I love those games. It takes me back to being in the arcades, honestly. So I'm really excited about them purchasing this and just excited to see where they are able to take Evo with all of the craziness that's been happening with like the fighting game community, with the Smash community, everything. I'd like to see what Sony backed Evo actually does. Nintendo said with Smash, they're just going to kind of sit on the sideline and figure out what they want to do because that's what Nintendo does. They do whatever it is they want to do. So Smash will not be part of Evo. But it'll be very interesting to see what kind of partnership Sony makes and what they do with it going forward.
Yeah, it was an interesting, like you said, it was funny to joke about it. Like, to me, it was like your grandmother gives you $5 to buy any toy that you want, but you're in the grocery store. So it's like, what the hell am I going to buy? Like, there's nothing in it. Yeah. But, when you do lay it down that way, like it makes sense that that's kind of something they've been pushing towards. So the next natural step is to just straight up buy the organization kind of thing. So I am very curious, and especially with all the, like you said, the Smash controversy and all that kind of and troubles that way. Where are they going to? Is this going to be a Sony exclusive platform, or will you see, if Nintendo decides to play ball with more tournament scene stuff, like does Sony presents Evo Super Smash Brothers? Like, is that what we were saying last time? What was it? It's going to be so weird to see, Microsoft presents a Bethesda game launching first on PlayStation. Like, that's going to be weird, but this could be just as strange, right? Like it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so seeing the Xbox logo on the show, it's just like,
right? Yeah, absolutely.
What is going on?
It's kumbaya. We were living in that realm. I mean, it is kind of funny because I think Evo's had some controversy as well, and right now live events are just not doing very well. So I'm assuming this was not a huge expense for Sony. except for Smash, Sony is really the primary platform for fighting, the fighting community, I'd say. So that's a good thing. I mean, Killer Instinct, I think, is the only Xbox really focused fighter because it's on that platform. Yeah. But other than that, I mean, it is going to be interesting to see where it is. I don't think Nintendo really likes having more than just a few, like, unique events, like World Nintendo Championships, things like that, because they don't like to tie themselves to a person. Right. They don't want to worry about somebody doing something stupid, saying something stupid, accusations. They just don't want that drama. And you can kind of see how they don't even get behind, like, what is it, Melee, which is their biggest game for the fighting community. They don't even acknowledge it. And they don't want any people to use it. So I assume Sony would say, sure, you can bring your game. It's just probably not going to be a big feature for them because it doesn't make any sense that they would do that. But Sony doesn't own a fighting franchise either. Or could they own a fighting franchise? Could they make an exclusive deal?
PlayStation All-Stars.
Absolutely.
A lot of people are really like, okay, you guys own Evo now. Let's bring back All-Stars, right? We're going to bring back All-Stars. But I don't see that happening. But I mean, they kind of Tekken is kind of like synonymous with Sony. You have a lot of fighting games that are just more synonymous with the Sony brand, even though they're not outright owned. I mean, when I think Dead or Alive and stuff like that, I always think Sony. Like, it just has that kind of that they have that history. So like I said, it feels like a natural progression, but I just don't know what that's gonna look like. Because it's just weird.
From a business standpoint, if fighting games are already synonymous with Sony, I have to wonder why they'd want to own it. If Evo's running itself, Sony's getting basically the publicity there because those games are either exclusive to a Sony platform or really kind of associated with a Sony platform. Where is it? Business-wise, where is it making sense for their portfolio? Also, I just funny little scenario popped in my head of, Xbox could theoretically go and buy Capcom and then own Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Another big draw for the
Mark, you shut your whole mouth. Oh wait, did I say that? That's not horrible. No. That's horrible. That's very professional of me.
But it's realistic. I mean, Microsoft has some of the deepest pockets in the world and can basically do what they want, and they've shown that they can do what they want. And there's rumors. Who's the rumor this week that they are going after a couple of Japanese developers? Sega was one of them.
I've heard them. Yeah,
it was one of them.
So it's not outside the realm of possibility for another company, whether it's Xbox, Nintendo, or whoever, to purchase. Like you said, Sony doesn't really have their own in-house first-party owned fighting franchise, so it's completely within the realm of possibility for any of these other companies to pull out of Evo, to say, well, we don't want it. Now that Sony owns it, it's we don't want to be promoted. It's such a weird business decision. I'm really curious how, like I said, it fits in their portfolio and their plans for the future.
Yeah, I have one thing I can think is that it was cheap.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's goodwill because they want to show because if they didn't save it, it could just go away. I mean, COVID has not made that type of business plan work really well. I mean, you just don't hear about a lot of events right now. But here's my weird Todd, like, overarching prediction. I'm going to go with the exact opposite of Mark. I think Sony is going to partner with Capcom and make Capcom versus PlayStation.
Ooh.
That would be a lot of fun.
That could be awesome. That would take PlayStation All-Stars to the next level, and that would be awesome. Like, that would be really, really fun to see, to be able to have Ryu versus Parappa the Rapper or something crazy like that. Ryu versus Nathan Drake. Let's go.
Yeah, or
I love the Parappa the Rapper is the first one that you came out with.
He's got to go. Kick punch.
What is it? Master Onion guy? Yeah. Gotta love it. Yeah,
that's the best.
So, Mark, Ubisoft had an event, or no, it was Square Enix. Sorry, Square Enix. Yep. Yeah. So there weren't a lot of highlights from that game. There was that Project Athia got a name, which was a Forspoken, which once again says Japanese games have the worst titles.
Yeah. There is For sure. Some weird, always weird naming conventions. But yeah, one interesting thing that I think we saw was, like you said, that earlier we were going to be talking a little bit more about Avengers. So Avengers got their full roadmap. I'm going to bring it up right now just so I have it in front of me. So March, we just got Operation Hawkeye, Future Imperfect. Also, we got the next gen console upgrades, free upgrade path, blah, 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 customizable harm rooms. And that was a weird partnership, like brought to you by Intel or some shit that I read. Like,
really?
I think so. Yeah. I remember seeing like an ad for that. And it was like brought to you by Intel.
Core I awesome.
Yeah. Like, anyway. So then they have spring. So they're smart enough not to put any specific dates on this stuff, which I think is a brilliant move considering how delayed and messed up this game has been so far. So spring, we have the Tachyon Anomaly, which is their weird little way of saying you can play as any combination of your favorite heroes. So if anyone hasn't played this game and you thought you could jump in and be 4 different Iron Mans or 3 Captain Americas and a Hulk, guess what? You couldn't. Everyone had to pick a different hero, so someone was going to be stuck with someone they didn't want to. So this is going to fix that. You can be 4 Iron Mans if you want to, or 3 Captain Americas, or whatever. Doesn't matter. So that's going to be fun. Then they also have the Red Room Takeover. So you can enter the Red Room, which is Black Widow's training area, I suppose, with new themed harm room content. So that's basically just like the training stuff, but it's going to be Red Room themed, I suppose, maybe tie in with the movie, I guess, if that ever comes out. And they're going to get new hero outfits. I don't know exactly when this is going to drop, but they did also say there's going to be in the additional content and features outfits inspired by the MCU, which is awesome because I don't know about how you guys feel, but for me, the costume design in this game has been, I'm going to be nice and say hit or miss.
Garbage. It's garbage. Let's just call it what it is.
They're like the stand-ins. They're like the guys you hire that look like the guys, but not really.
They're not good.
Anyway, so Summer and Beyond, we have the Cosmic Cube, new Scientist Supreme villain sector, confront the unchecked power of the Cosmic Cube. Then we have Wasteland Protocol as a new Warzone mission type, patrol mode. Beyond that, we have the War for Wakanda expansion, finally getting Black Panther in the game. That is going to be awesome. His cinematic was badass. And like further out than that, we are getting Claws, a new villain, new power level increase, new hero outfits, all the regular stuff. Wakanda jungle. One thing I don't know if they touched on was like Wakanda was rumored to be the first. The first raid kind of thing. So I don't know if that's actually going to be part of this. So it's kind of a weird roadmap, but that's what we have so far. One notable thing on it was no Spider-Man so far. That's the Sony exclusive. So basically, so far, we've gotten 2 Hawkeyes and a Black Panther sometime beyond the summer, as far as characters go. Devin, you've just been jumping into this. I put this game on the back burner. When Kate came out, I jumped in for like 2 minutes, and I was like, you know what? I'm just waiting for the next-gen upgrades. So I do plan. I just downloaded it yesterday back to my console. I do plan on jumping back in. Similar style to what you were saying. I'm just tackling the story beats. They've made grinding harder. They've made it more of a grind to level up your characters for a game that a lot of people say is dying or just needs to be fixed. So Devin, maybe we'll start with you. What are your feelings like? Is this roadmap enough? Does it matter, or what can they do at this point?
I mean, they're approaching Anthem territory with this. At least we're getting more content, but it's like, why is this game even multiplayer? It feels very, very tacked on. It feels like somebody in the upper room is like, look here, games as a service is a thing. I'm gonna need you to go ahead and tack on some multiplayer right quick, right, and make it happen. Because I don't even understand what's the point of grinding out the power levels. What's the point of like all of that in-game stuff? It just doesn't seem like it's going anywhere or even useful. Like the story content is the best part of this game. Like going through the actual story beats, they're really good. The Kamala Khan story was fantastic. I enjoyed that very much. And then when that was done, I had absolutely zero desire to play this game multiplayer. Like, even when you're collecting the gear, like, it doesn't do enough to me to where I want to have builds because it doesn't affect the single player game enough to where it matters.
And like I said, there's no raid.
The way they look. Yeah, there's no raid. So what do I need multiplayer for? I think it's cool, like the story content that we're getting, but it's like, what's the return? Like, why? I don't see people buying battle passes, especially if I'm buying, the cosmetic content that really it doesn't look good. I don't have any incentive personally to get any of it. The gear you get in game doesn't change the way you look, which I think they're kind of hinting at it might. They're looking into that, but I'm excited for, Black Panther. And since it's all free, I'll keep playing it when they keep dropping content, but it's not going to be something that I'm like, oh, I can't wait for that next Avengers content. No, it's like, okay, cool. I finished the story. I'll play when Black Panther comes back, and then if Spider-Man or any other characters drop, I'll play it when it comes. But you're not going to get a dime out of me buying any of the stuff off the store. It's just not going to happen. So I don't know where this game goes from here. I don't know how they continue to keep a player base unless they start to add some kind of raid or something to actually entice the multiplayer, but just grinding out levels for the sake of grinding out levels to get some gear that doesn't really matter if you're not raiding. Like, what's the point?
Yeah. At least when you collected all the Korok seeds in Zelda, you got a golden poop. There's no golden poop at the end of this game.
No.
There's nothing. It's just, hey, whatever, Cap's maxed. Go work on Thor. I don't know. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the point of maxing him out is. To be perfectly honest, I don't. I don't know the point. Honestly,
what? You don't want Hulk's iconic spine upgrades?
I don't even want to play with Hulk. I hate playing with Hulk. Playing with Hulk and Iron Man is so worst.
Oh, thank you. Yes, how many times have I complained that they should learn something from Anthem with this game, which is a weird thing to say, but at least Anthem got friggin' Iron Man right. Jesus, they can't
yeah. The monetization of this game is so weird because you are, to your point, you're paying. I mean, maybe that's why they made the characters look so bad, because you have to pay for the cosmetic upgrades. I mean, basically get the iconic suits. But
brilliant idea.
The iconic suits are awful.
Yeah,
they're awful.
I mean, that's
like let me. You paid for a Marvel license and got all of the D level stuff.
Oh. Yeah, and Fortnite's got better Marvel content anyway, so it's like, what? It doesn't even make sense. You just gotta wonder, Marvel's like, hey, we made our money off the licensing. We don't have to care about this game, which is the biggest sin in the world because it's essentially the biggest license in the world, and this is what you got. Which, as a huge comic book fan over the years, there are so many iconic villains, even just B tier, C tier, D tier villains they could have brought in. And what are we getting constantly? Generic robots. We got two bosses, generic robots. It's just a waste of the license.
I don't understand how their hero roadmap, like I said before, give me a bow and arrow. I'm happy with Hawkeye, but only give me one Hawkeye. You're giving me back-to-back Hawkeyes? Like, Where's Falcon? Where's Winter Soldier? They have a TV show coming out.
Hawk Guy and Hawk Gal.
Yeah, throw Vision my way. Throw someone.
Give me Quake. You made mention of Quake. Right? You threw her in the game. Bring her out as a character. There's so many more ways they can go. But like you said, we get Hawk Guy and Hawk Girl. Basically, just like a mirror image of the character. So it's like, what's the point? And then you give me Black Panther way down the road if I'm even still paying any attention to your game.
Thank goodness he wears a mask, because if he takes that mask off, I'm worried who we're going to get. It's gonna be like it's not gonna be it's not gonna be who we want. It's not gonna be Chadwick. No. It's gonna be like Eddie Murphy or like I don't know. Martin Lawrence, maybe.
But not like good Eddie Murphy.
No,
he's gonna take the mask off and it's gonna be
it's gonna be a clump, exactly.
It's gonna be a clump. That's the name of this episode. Yeah, it's gonna be a clump. But I mean, we've got WandaVision that just launched. We've got Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and where is the synergy? There's none at all. It's just it's a waste. Yeah. Oh boy. Sorry. I got a little excited. But you know what? I did buy it off GameFly for $16, so I'm gonna try this because I rented it before. But you know what? This will probably be a game like Destiny at times where I just jump back in every once in a while. But I don't think that's the way to keep this game. It's not going to survive that way. Not with me coming in every once in a while. Its monetary system is just not there where you don't have recurring funds like Fortnite season pass or things like that. So man, sorry Square Enix. Oof. Yeah. Oh well.
Todd, what do you have for us?
Well, this is kind of a surprising news story. It's really interesting because it seems like a strategy we're seeing more and more with PlayStation is recruit or attract really awesome developers who have been screwed by systems or platforms that didn't appreciate them. We had Kojima, who was basically Konami decided just to make pachinko machines. And so, Kojima was there wanting to make more games. And Sony says, we'll float you. We'll produce this game for you. We'll pay you to make this game. We'll let you use our engine. And you just make an awesome game. And it can go to PC as well. Very friendly. Anybody who makes Kojima happy tells you that they're not going to meddle, because at that point, Kojima wasn't going to let anybody meddle with him. And he made Death Stranding, which was the weirdest game in the world, which I still haven't touched. I heard it's interesting, but it's like a Jenga messenger game where you have to balance stuff and not fall over. Not for me. Oh, well. I think I got that. I think that's the exact definition of that game. But Jade Raymond was just basically announced that she's creating a new studio called Haven and is going to be developing a PlayStation exclusive game that will also be on PC because she essentially has been screwed by two companies, essentially. I guess you would call it LucasArts, EA at that point. They were going to make, I think she formed Motive, which finally made Star Wars Squadrons, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, she went to Stadia, formed a studio, and after 2 years has nothing to show for it, except a team. I think largely she moved over. So if you think about that, as a creator, you only have so many years of creative life and energy going forward, and you're only as hot as your last game they developed for. And I think the last game she really was tied to was Watch Dogs, because she worked on Assassin's Creed, really helped that series, brought forward Watch Dogs, and then Star Wars Squadrons, which was good, but didn't set the world on fire. So, and she's probably 2 to 3 years before her next game comes out, if it even comes out as soon as possible. I guess she's gonna. But Sony has basically made a deal with her to have this game, her exclusive, come out. And to me, that's a positive because she can finally make a game without having to worry about politics and things. It's fully funded. Sony's not going to, flake on her. And Sony gets, once again, a game not coming from one of their internal studios, which is exclusive. So for me, it's a win-win. It's a different strategy than Xbox or Nintendo. Nintendo does some of those things, like with Marvel Ultimate Alliance. They do some odd projects like I'm blanking the name, the witch lady who fights with her hair. Bayonetta, things like that. So I think it's a different strategy than Xbox does, and I think it could work. And once again, puts a feather in Sony's cap. So I'm excited about this because I want to see her make a game.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too. I'm glad that she's finally getting the chance to just make a game instead of companies constantly stepping in and saying, oh no, you got to do this, and they're being like, well, what we're trying to do here is this. We're not trying to go that way. So either let me make the game that my team wants to make, which is when you're going to get the best stuff, when you allow the team to be creative and create instead of trying to force an agenda. Hello, Avengers. Just let people make the game. So I think Sony's strategy, like you said, it's a very different strategy. They can't afford to buy studios, but they can afford to back a game and let you make a game that can then flourish on their system. a la Death Stranding. Like that game did very well and is also on PC, so they're able to generate revenue from both, the console exclusive, because it's going to sell consoles, it's going to move consoles hopefully, as well as on the PC side of it. So we know Jade Raymond can make a game. It's just up to somebody to let her actually do it.
Yeah.
Do you guys think this is risky from Sony's side at all, or do you just think they don't really matter, especially announcing it this early? They probably could have done this under the table, sight unseen. Like you said, we're still years away. Like this is, Stadia. The Stadia news is pretty new, so there's very little hope that they have anything at this point. So is Sony just buying vaporware, or do they? Has she built up the same kind of trust as Kojima or someone else that you can kind of count on the name? Is Jade Raymond a big enough name? Do you guys think that she brings that same kind of clout that a Kojima production? Like, do people care? A Jade Raymond production, is that a thing, or are they trying to make it a thing, or is it is Fetch going to happen?
It went there. Ooh.
Devin, I feel like it's making, it's just goodwill. It's showing that there is some goodwill that Sony is willing to work with you and allow you to create. I think that's the only real thing. It is definitely risky because this could be, like you said, it's several years off. We're not going to see anything from this. It's going to be like it's like Sony's E3 where they showed us everything and then it took 37 years for anything to actually come to fruition. So I think this is kind of in that same vein. It shows the goodwill, but honestly, let's just forget about it until it actually we're shown something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely risky.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I remember
good for her though.
I remember awesome. When Kojima left Konami, and then he announced his studio, and then he said he was looking for partners. He was telling everybody he's looking for engines. It was like this weird, like world trotting, like. Why is Kojima in Paris? What is he doing? We don't know. And then it was announced there was this a commitment to work with Sony, and I think where Sony really accelerates this is they're very collaborative studios. I mean, letting Kojima work with basically the Horizon Zero Dawn, that engine's really effective, and he was able to accelerate. And I think people thought his game was going to come out for like 8 years. It came out in 3. So, and I'm just curious of how much work she did on Stadia that she could just transfer over. Is it going to be the same type of idea? Can she even do that? I'm guessing Stadia basically said at this point, we're letting you go. We're not having an intention of using being a developer of games, so go crazy. But we'll see. If it's something she was already working on, she can transfer it over there, use that new engine.
Yeah, and we don't know the back end parts of this too. Like Sony could have come in with their money and say, look, we're buying the assets too. And that could be a hush hush kind of thing. Like, they're right now they're saying like, hey, Jade Raymond, go exclusive, whatever. But like in the background, they could be talking to Google and saying like, we want these assets. We want anything that she was working on to be ours. You guys aren't using it clearly, so how much do we have to give you for you to shut the hell up about this forever? And these assets are ours. So we don't know that part of it, right? Or I don't think we do. I haven't seen that part come up. So yeah, you could be right. Like this could be depending on how much they have already or how much they're allowed to use, we could see this in 2 or 3 years, or we could see this in 8. We'll see.
And then Jade Raymond's looking for a new partner. But I mean, ultimately, Sony's not afraid to form relationships long term and then acquire. So Naughty Dog, Insomniac, things like that. So it could be down the road where she appreciates the relationship, the hands off creatively. They allow their people to basically do what they want. I mean, Sony's banked studios to make games that are just ridiculous, like Dreams. Media Molecule has never made a money maker, right? They're still allowed to do crazy things. So maybe that's attractive enough that they basically said, and I think that's where they set the bar earlier than, say, Xbox did. No, Xbox is being the one that's basically saying we're hands off. So it's great to see so many more platform holders basically saying we just want people to be creative and we're going to give you the time and money and the pressure is off. So
yeah.
Yeah, I think this is exciting news. I mean, Amy Hennig, come on. We're just waiting for you to make another game because, crap, she's been out of the business for a long, long time. So more to
Can we
come.
bring Amy Hennig to this studio? Can we get Shannon Studstill back?
Oh, yeah.
Steady as well. Like, there's so many floating names out there that we can bring in and make something nice, hopefully.
Absolutely. We want creators to have a home where they can develop and not have to worry about, budgets and things like that and just be
crunch.
Creative. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we made it through the news, and now we are at the point of the bonus round. This is a topic or a game. This week it's a topic, and we are covering backwards compatibility versus remasters versus remakes. So very quickly, Mark, Devin, what is your definition for these? So basically, I've got a couple of definitions here, but I don't know if we've changed these definitions because essentially technology is kind of stepped us through these things and lowered the bar of difficulty. So backwards compatibility, will hit that first. So basically, it's hardware allowing you to play your old games. It's very simple, typically with no enhancements or anything in the past. My examples were like PlayStation 1 games working on PlayStation 2, GameCube games working on Wii. Sometimes you got like a little bit of a bump, but nothing much. But now we've got backwards compatibility basically improving resolution and frame rate through optimized for Xbox Series X, FPS boost, and also seeing improvements on PS5. So any other thoughts on backwards compatibility, like examples where it was done well? What's your take on backwards compatibility?
It's definitely moved into a different era. It used to be like, man, just let me play my games that I already own. And now it's like, let me play my games that I already own, but make them better. It can be good, but it's better. So it's really weird that we're starting to see that because, you have all of the optimized for a Series X stuff. Like, they have auto HDR. They've got the frame rate boost. They've got the resolution. On PS5, you'll get something like God of War that actually just gets a patch that gives it the 60 frames with a dynamic 4K resolution or whatnot. So we're getting to the realm where backwards compatibility is beginning to mean a little bit different because you're actually able to just patch these games and improve upon them. Almost like if you got a PC and you put in a new GPU or a new CPU, now that boosts the ability of what your game can do. So we're starting to kind of muddle the waters there of what backwards compatibility means to me anyway.
It's almost calling for another category. I've heard it tossed around before, like free masters, where they don't really do anything. You don't pay for it again. It's just a free kind of upgrade or update that, whether it is hardware or software or some kind of improvement of some way that they're optimizing the performance or adding something to it, like auto HDR. So I would still count those as backwards compatible, but it's like backwards compatible plus kind of thing. So I'm kind of agreeing with that kind of broad definition, but definitely agree with Devin where it's the lines are being a little blurred between remaster and free master and backwards compatible. It's a bold new world.
Yeah, and we've had different support, different platforms had their different focus. I mean, you had Game Boy Advance, they could play those games. They had a port for the carts. Then you went to DS, still play GBA. Then DS went to 3DS, and then there's a break. Kind of the same thing with Nintendo. You didn't get backwards compatibility on Nintendo consoles until the Wii. Because the GameCube was the first one that could play on a Wii, and then it went to Wii U, and then it stopped with the Switch. PlayStation, the same thing. PlayStation 2, PS3 a little bit, and then they stopped. Xbox said, well, if you want to play Xbox 360 or online or anything, basically they stopped for a while, and then Xbox One essentially brought back backwards compatibility in a very prominent fashion.
Yeah.
PC has always been backwards compatibility. I mean, all your libraries always traveled for you because of the platform, the x86 processor. So it's always been a little different. But now is your point. Now we're getting games that are improved, which is great. It's awesome. But once again, this is their first generation really doing the improvement. And they're stumbling along the way in the different ways they implement it. Xbox is doing smart delivery. It's much more seamless and it's smarter. And wow, I mean, you could tell they're software developers by heart. So it's cool to see. Yeah. Then we'll move on. We'll go through these basically. We just want to walk through these really quick. Remasters / enhanced ports. Do you guys think that's accurate? So, because we've seen a couple different approaches to this. So this says basically retains most of the original content with modern touch-ups to its visual and mechanical fidelity. Remasters leave most of the base game intact. So examples would be Last of Us Remastered, Spyro Collection, and Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Each one of those does drastically different things.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good kind of categorization, especially where you threw in enhanced ports as well as remasters. So that's where you do get something like the Super Mario 3D All-Star Collection, where for the most part the games are untouched, bumped up a little bit graphically, but the control improvement's not really there. It's still a little clunky for Super Mario 64. Translating a button for the C buttons to a stick is still very clunky kind of experience, where I would say a remake would completely, put that in an Odyssey engine or a Bowser's Fury type engine where the camera is just free roaming and you can kind of run around with a little bit more speed and fidelity of movement. So I think that's a pretty decent definition.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny that when you said Super Mario 3D All-Stars, I was thinking about Super Mario All-Stars on the Super Nintendo, because it had the other ones and they were actually completely like up-res and everything. Mm-hmm. It made me realize, oh wow, we've had remasters since way back then. I didn't even realize it. But yeah, remasters, I think this is like a perfect idea of what they really are. Just like that visual touch-up. And leaving the game pretty much intact, which is why the line is so blurred, because we have that through backwards compatibility optimization now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a good transition point, because I'm going to actually mention that game in the next category, which is remakes or reboots, because you see reboots and remakes in Hollywood. I mean, and you could have all these kind of things kind of exist, like it remasters in Hollywood be like, we touched up the print. We made it so you could put it into an HD format on Blu-ray. That would be like a remaster. You just basically made it so it looks the best it could ever look. But remakes, kind of like the Psycho remake, which essentially was a shot-for-shot remake. It wasn't black and white, but it was made by a different director. Or a reboot, which is basically, we want to take that title or that franchise and rethink it or reimagine it. So there's different ways of thinking about this. So basically they say it's updating the graphics and sound for modern hardware, often taking liberties with the original source. So to your point, I mean, it's basically, we're not just going to make a one-for-one translation, like a remaster, and just make it look better. We're potentially going to change it. And that would be, examples would be Resident Evil 2, which revamped the entire game's camera system. It basically changed some of the storyline and improved some of the audio, plus all the other mechanical differences to make it more of a tight game and more of up to modern standards. Final Fantasy VII Remake, holy crap, it's like a completely different game by a different director that, basically said, we're going to take the concept of the story, but it is not entirely at all like the original game, but with some similar story beats. But the other examples are like Ratchet and Clank. That was like the original PlayStation game brought up to modern day standards, but not really, it still is the heart of that series. Doom 2016, I mean, came out of nowhere, because the last one we had Doom 3, which was like Monster Closets. So it's kind of revisiting the original and bringing it up to today's standards. And then Super Mario All-Stars, Devin. So very good pick, because like we said, that game basically took the originals and put them in SNES graphic styles. And I don't know, though, with that series, if I have much experience, did it change the gameplay at all?
No, not really.
It was the same Mario gameplay,
Yeah, I'd put that more up to remasters almost, or it's somewhere, because they didn't change a significant portion of that one. It was just kind of increasing the visuals, but keeping the mechanics.
Yeah, there's another category called re-releases too. It's almost like like, hey, we just want you to be able to play these games again, and it's almost like a virtual console, right? It's just like, here's the game again, you can play them. We didn't touch it at all. So it's almost like
the Nintendo category.
Absolutely. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
the Nintendo special.
We're letting you buy it again in another platform. It's kind of like that's their modus operandi. Yeah. So it's interesting how all of these are different, and we're in a different state now where we have been before, because in the last generation, maybe PS3 and last generation, we had a lot of the remasters, right? Just so you could play those games again. Is that era done? Or will we see some of that continued with older games that they're kind of unplayable and they just can't be up-resed or improve the frame rate?
Ooh, that's a tough call. I feel like it's dead from a Microsoft standpoint, because they're like, we're just going to make everything playable and better. From Sony, I feel like they're going to have to still remake games. Like, I don't think that you're going to be able to play, especially because of the way the PS3 era was. Like, if you want to replay Infamous, they're going to have to remake it. It's not going to be like, okay, now PS3 games are backwards compatible. So that entire library, for the most part, would have to have a remaster or a remake in order for it to be playable. Just because of how weird that engine was, how weird the cell processor was. So
yeah,
we don't mention that platform's name.
They're fighting an uphill battle.
Oh boy, yeah.
I think to that point, Microsoft could go back and do some remakes, I suppose, if they really wanted to, like go, especially in their Rare catalog. Like, if you look at some of the Rare Replay collection, which again is basically a backwards compatible collection with a tiny touch of remastering for a few of the games, but if they felt like putting some effort in, I think that would be the way they'd have to go, is like going way back in that catalog. But for the most part, it seems like Microsoft is more interested in the preservation, which I respect. I for better or for worse, they're seemingly really good at saying this is the game, even with the some of the releases they've done. There's a button to switch between the old graphical style and the new graphical style. They want you to know that. And I love when it's not just Microsoft that's done that. What was it? Monster Boy or whatever it was. That did that really well. Yeah. Wonder Boy. That's it.
Yeah.
So there have been examples of teams that, again, kind of blur that line between, is this a remaster or a complete remake or some kind of weird hybrid of the two. But Microsoft seems to be really good at just, like I said, that preservation kind of thing of like, here's how the game originally looked, here's how it originally played. We're going to make it a little bit smoother for you, but for the most part, like, this is the archives. This is what we're going for. And the other companies, you never know what you're going to get. You could get for every Super Mario 3D collection, there's what was the Legend of Zelda Link Between Worlds, or no?
Yes,
what was the other?
That was the one that was like the Link to the Past, where they had where you could fall into the wall. That one, or is there?
No, the one they just remade for Switch. It was the Game Boy game.
Oh, Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening. Thank you. That completely escaped my mind. But for every time Nintendo sticks a $70 price tag on a super old game that they've hardly changed, they also do that kind of weird stuff. So they're to me, they're probably the most interesting company, just because they have the massive back catalog, but also you never know what you're going to get. I was talking about this episode with my wife earlier, and she was saying, she would absolutely love an Ocarina of Time remake, straight up, like whether Breath of the Wild engine or just, make it look prettier. And then she stopped and was like, well, no, I kind of love the original, but like maybe they could fix a couple of things, but maybe they shouldn't. It's that tough thing between preservation and making something playable. So it's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah, I mean, I just go throw the example of the Morrowind. That's a great example of preservation, but no amount of FPS boost, making horrible textures look that much crisper is going to make it a better experience. It's quality of life gets to a point. Save points, I talked about save anywhere, things like that. Checkpoints in games used to be brutal. Camera systems used to be horrible. I talked about I was very disappointed in the 3D All-Stars version because those are essentially enhanced ports. They were HD because they were up-resed. But we've seen what you can, how many times you've seen like someone puts Zelda in the Unreal Engine 4 with better camera, beautiful textures. And it's like, that's what I want. In nostalgia, what you remember is awesome, but it doesn't necessarily, when you actually see it on the screen, you're like, oh crap, my memory was better than that. So I'm curious how far back you can go when, that works. Is it the 360 era? It's going to be okay?
Yeah, I'd say so. The best remakes or remasters or whatever you want to call them are the ones that make the game look and feel like it did in your mind back when you played them. And you play that and you go, this feels exactly the same as it always did. This is perfect. And then you go back and play the original version and you're like, what the actual hell was this? And how did it trick my brain into the remaster feeling and playing exactly like it should? Like the Tony Hawk games are a great example. Tony Hawk 1 and 2. Like if you go back and play Tony Hawk 1, the original, it like no. But when you play it in this remake or remaster collection or whatever you classify that one as, kind of a weird one for that too. It feels right. It still feels like you always thought that game felt, but it's new. So it's so weird how your brain can trick yourself into seeing games better, feeling games feeling better, and then it's tough if one little thing is off in a remake or a remaster, especially the remaster part. Remake, they kind of have full range to do whatever they want, but for a remaster, it is so easy to mess it up and so tough to nail the perfect mix of modernization and nostalgia. And any team that can pull that off is like, congratulations, you guys win all of my money. So yeah, it's tough, but I think I like the remaster kind of thing for those kind of games, because like I said, it brings that nostalgia back, which is big for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I don't need a remake of Infamous. I'll take a remaster. So yeah, that PS3 360 era, I think that is like where you, as far back as you can go as far as a remaster, because those games, they look good enough to where if you put a nice coat of paint on them, you fix the frame rate, a couple of animations or whatnot, and just remaster it, but keep it, pretty much honest to what it already was, and you're good to go. But when you start going back to like PS2, PS1,
OG Xbox, N64,
you gotta remake that, because when you look at those games, it's just like, oh, what was that? How did that even work? This was what I was playing. Like, yeah, that just needs to be remade. And like Final Fantasy VII is like, I think, a really good example of that. Like when I go back and I actually play that one, I'm just like, oh my god, this thing it looks horrible. Like, what? No. And I have such fond memories, and playing through the remake was like, this is what I remember. This is legit. Like, I'm playing this, and I'm like, this is what I remember. This feels like the same Final Fantasy that I played when he jumped off that train. This is what I remember in my brain. But then if you try to play the original, you're like, oh, oof, that was rough. So yeah, I think anything from that era and literally just like that 32 and 64-bit generation, those you got to remake. 16-bit, 8-bit, y'all can leave them alone and just port those.
Yeah.
They weren't stretching. They were pushing. They were advancing, and in some of those things. I mean, you could obviously like put in save states. You could do things like rewind or things like that, which make it quality of life. That's easy overlay. You saw that with Nintendo Online, their games. You had co-op, so that's a great way to preserve it, but also make it more fun. Because I think nobody wants to like, oh crap, I didn't save the code to get my save state on my NES game. So all those
that
things
is
are
one thing I don't think Nintendo gets credit for with the Switch Online stuff is a lot of those games have online multiplayer. The save states are fantastic. Like
absolutely.
A lot of time it's just like, oh yeah, they're charging, $20 a year or $5 a pop for a backwards compatibility kind of thing. But like these really are more in the remaster enhanced port category. Like they're putting in some effort for these, especially on the Switch. Like, yeah, we made fun of the Wii to Wii U upgrade fee and all that kind of shit. And that was BS back then, especially, but nowadays, like they're putting in minimal effort for $20 a year.
Yeah. $20 a year ain't bad, neither to be able to have that much of an NES and SNES library without the ridiculousness of having to write down the 25-digit code to get back to where you were in Metroid. Nobody.
You better hope that nobody throws away that piece of paper. Oh
right?
My goodness. But it is funny because people are even getting nostalgic in like PC with like World of Warcraft Classic.
Oh my.
Yeah, so you can go back to like an old MMO, which is just like, hello.
I want to play WoW Vanilla so bad, but my life is not set up or equipped for that at this point because
your wife isn't ready to leave you. You aren't ready to get rid of children. Say, leave me alone for 25 hours.
It's written on his calendar. He has a calendar like kids are gone to college, and that's it.
Oh, just, family.
Yes.
Yeah. Shut down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, those were good times.
Yeah. So it is. It really depends on the leap we've made, and I think PS3 and Xbox 360 finally conquered all of the pains of like 3D, cameras and things like that. So I think that's where it's like that really. It's like that awkward teen years, pimples and smelly and stinky kids on the PS2 and 64 and, the OG Xbox. Once you get past that, the remasters make more sense. Probably the reboot, the remake of like the, Perfect Dark, right? We're getting a reboot of that, I guess. Yeah. So we're seeing more of that where it makes sense. When something's not working anymore, like the God of War, we get essentially the reboot because we need to reset this because we want a new creative vision. So I think that all these things are up for grabs. So it's really interesting. But I don't think there's one thing that fits all. But I think I'm glad we have all these options.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So last question: what game do you want to come back in a way that you can best enjoy it now?
Metal Gear Solid.
Gears?
Yeah. That is the one game that I'm just waiting for them to say we're remaking Metal Gear Solid. That it wasn't included in like the trilogy as a remaster when they did the Metal Gear Solid remaster where they had Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, Peace Walker. Yeah. I wanted Metal Gear Solid 1. I wanted that one. And I'm still waiting. So that's the one game. I got my Final Fantasy VII because that was the game of dreams that I wanted to see remade after them showing the PS3 tech demo of Final Fantasy VII. Now I need my Metal Gear. That's the one game I want to see come back.
Oscar Isaac is going to play Snake, right? So maybe that's not. He can just be the face of Metal Gear.
I'm with it. Make it happen.
Mark?
Oh man. I'd love to just like be a massive troll and just say Wave Race right now.
Really?
I always go back to Wave Race.
That,
I know. I've never brought it up on the show before. If I say Cool Spot, someone just called bingo. No, you know what? I'm gonna go with Ocarina. Actually, I would love. I think a full remake. I don't even know if at this point I want a remaster. Maybe I do. Maybe I just want enhanced visuals. And leave the story.
I was gonna say,
like enhanced visuals. You guys are cramping my style. No, it's like something like that. Like,
we need to enhance the visuals, and eventually the
enhance. Yeah. No, I think Bill, like you said, we've seen that game in Unreal, like recreated and that kind of stuff. But there's when it's fan made or fan recreated, there's always just something off a little bit. But I think Nintendo could actually do it the right way and remake that. But I'd also love Mario 64.
Yes.
We just talked about how it's tough to go back. Did I ever tell
you I love you?
All the time, buddy. That's why I have that tattoo of you on my back, right above the dolphin.
Sorry,
that's yeah. But we saw in Mario Odyssey how great the Mushroom Kingdom can look from 64, and it was such a tease, right? It was such a like just remake that game in the Odyssey engine and just charge me $90 and I'll be happy and broke, but like just do it. I don't know. Like there's just pick a random N64 game, really, like Jet Force Gemini. Just take my money, Xbox. Like let's go. I don't know. I want a reboot of that one. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that one needs a reboot.
So many. Yeah, for sure. What about you, Todd?
I have two. So Parasite Eve, I think everybody wants that because it's a cool game. It's really interesting. Square in the PS1 era did so many crazy, interesting, weird experiments, and I would just love to see them go back to that. I don't know if they ever will, but I think Parasite Eve is just a series that just was kind of let down. I mean, it was really exciting because of the audio and things, but the visuals just kind of like, it was impressive at the time, but now it's kind of like, ooh, pixely, weird graphics. So I would love to see that. And the other game is Legacy of Kain, the original, not all the other ones, but Legacy of Kain was such a weird game, but did so many cool things at the time. We talked about Amy Hennig and then Dennis Dyack. They were just such a weird creative entity on that, and Crystal IMX. I would love to see that come back and maybe let it morph into Soul Reaver and things like that. But yeah, I think that game needs more attention because it was really awesome for the time.
Cool.
Absolutely.
I'd love to see. Oh, you just set my brain on like a weird path too, like Eternal Darkness. But I think they'd have to fully remake that because you couldn't just remaster it because TVs like that did so many things to mess with the TV. But it would look like the effects would look like an old CRT TV. So like with the volume turning down, all that kind of stuff. Like I don't think that it would work with modern TVs as well as it did back then. But like if you and to the game that you were talking about, the Pony Island, like that even kind of reminded me of some of those weird little mind trips that, I think that series could come back and just be like, we're just going to mess with you for a couple of hours and it's going to be weird. And this is the new Eternal Darkness. Here you go. I think that'd be cool. Like there's so many old games that they could do that with.
You made me start thinking about like Onimusha. I want to see
oh my god!
Yes. Can I get a reboot of that, remake of that, please? Because I loved that series.
Well,
what they did with it just was wrong.
I was going to say they released that one that was on Remaster and wasn't very good, and that's the wrong way to. That's the wrong way.
Give me Onimusha in the style of like Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh yeah. Mm. Oh god.
Can we marry those together, please?
Oh. God, see, that's where like Capcom. I mean, they just need someone to tell them just to relook at your past. Mark, with Eternal Darkness, I just worry that Nintendo, they've kind of abandoned almost. But I mean, every time I think they've abandoned 100%. Their mature roots, they make Bayonetta, which I just don't understand, or No More Heroes. So it's like, why not? Or just give that IP away and let somebody else manage it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. Well, that is it for the show, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this really fun journey we've had. Devin, my goodness, I hope you enjoyed yourself. We went places you probably weren't expecting, but that's okay.
Absolutely. Had a great time. Loved it.
Well, but before we leave, tell people where they can find you on the interwebs.
All right, you can find me at DatNinjaDev on Twitter and pretty much all of your different gaming platforms of choice. You can also follow PlayStation Experience at PlayStation XP on Twitter, as well as at Game Tech Pod for the Game Tech Show, and just all the PSVG stuff. Just follow at PSVG. We've got a ton of content. So just check us out. We're all over the place. If you like Discord, we've got one of those as well. And there's constant chitter chatter in there.
Oh, so good. Awesome. So good. We are big fans of all of your content. Really love what you guys do. And once again, check them out, guys. You get a podcast on every type of platform you enjoy. So, and if you don't like one, listen to another one because it's all there. So awesome. Thanks again, Devin, for being on. Mark, tell people how they can find us.
Well, you can follow us on Twitter at SecretFriendsU. You can follow myself and Todd at @the_Canardian or at @TOxtra. I'll let you figure out which one's which. You can subscribe and rate us on YouTube and podcast services around the globe. And we also have T-shirts for sale at TeePublic, and all the proceeds for those go to a charity that's near and dear to Charlie's heart. And the rest of us, we're all involved in the T-shirt sales and all that kind of stuff. So that's it. We're everywhere.
Awesome. Yes. And Charlie will get mad because we didn't mention the specific charity, Mark. So shame on us.
Haha. I just do that to mess with them.
Absolutely. So there you go, folks. This has been a fun episode. Follow Devin, follow us, and remember, it's always better to game together.